We've discussed the key principles of change leadership. It's now time to put those principles into action. It's time to deliver the change. And the first step to doing that is to develop a detailed change plan. For as Benjamin Franklin famously said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I've compiled a template that I've creatively called the Change Template to help you to do this, which you can download from your intranet or even my website. Now, the change plan template starts with the high-level strategic questions. Firstly, what are the desired outcomes? What are you trying to achieve in terms of numbers and narrative? And who do you need to engage to define that change vision? Secondly, why is the change necessary? Thirdly, what are the key implications of the change for customers, for people, for the organization? Who and what will be impacted most by the change? Then your key success factors. What must be done, developed, or put into place for this to be successful? How will you measure your success? Then your key challenges and obstacles. What could possibly go wrong? The key barriers to change, and what are your plans to overcoming them? How will you empower and encourage people to change as well? Then your key interdependencies. What will you need from others for your initiative to be successful? And how are you going to get their support? Lastly, on the strategic points, your quick wins. What short-term wins can be delivered, and how will you publicly reward people for delivering them? The second part of the change plan template talks about delivery planning. Firstly, we need to create a sense of urgency. Do others see the need for the change and why it must be done now? We need to build a change team across the business. No significant change can be done alone. So how do you plan to assemble a team of change influencers, of change catalysts, to deliver the change you need? What are your communication plans? Remember, you need to engage your stakeholders emotionally as well as logically if you want to make this successful. And you also need to do some stakeholder engagement and analysis. And to help you do this, I've built some templates that you can also download. So who is for the change? Who is against the change? Second last, your process and governance. Are accountabilities, responsibilities, and decision-making processes clear? Have you built in pauses for reflection? What's your timetable for the change? And lastly, how are you going to sustain the change? How are you going to embed it into the way we work? How will you incentivize the new behaviors required for success? Now, the change template is provided as a guide. It's a checklist to prompt you to think through the key issues you need to deliver the change. Planning is critical, but let's face it, action is the only thing that will deliver results. So beware of paralysis by analysis. Once you've thought through the plan, we need to crack on and deliver. I'd just like to end this with one of my favorite sayings. Strategy without implementation is a daydream. Implementation without strategy is a nightmare. We have to have both.